guys, Jason back once again, and I have something for you that I haven't done in a while. This is an unboxing. Now, this is not a new game by any means, but we will go through it. Twilight 2000 by Game Designers Workshop. Some of you may be familiar with this game, some of you may not. Others may have played the crap out of this, but be that as it may, we'll go over it briefly. This game came out, if I can find the date here, if not it'll be on the rulebook inside. Let's say this was the 80s. Designed by Frank Chadwick. And it's a kind of, I don't know if you would call this necessarily post-apocalyptic, probably just apocalyptic. For 5 years, the armies of the world have fought back and forth across Europe. 3 years ago, the missiles started flying. Most countries were hit hard in the nuclear exchange. But no one had a decisive advantage, and the war went on. Tanks began breaking down, and the supply of spare parts gradually dwindled to zero. The sophisticated artillery weapons have shot off all their ammo, and no one is capable of producing anymore. Divisions which started with 20,000 men are lucky to put up 2,000 in the field. But the war goes on. You are part of the remnants of the leading U.S. division of NATO's last drive into central Poland. There isn't much in the way of organized military forces left on either side, and the local warlords, militia, and murderous bands of marauding deserters rule the countryside. Your division has been overrun, and your group is hundreds of kilometers from the nearest friendlies. The last message from division headquarters reads, "Good luck, you're on your own." Twilight 2000 is unique in the field of role-playing games, and I would add that this is a role-playing game, something I have not touched on in any of my war game video, all 250 videos I've done now, never touched on a role-playing game, but here we go. Let's see, it's set in a post-Holocaust environment, but the characters are modern soldiers thrown on to their own resources by the gradual breakdown of the command structure and civilization. Modern equipment is there, but very rare. Gasoline is almost non-existent, so units carry alcohol stills to make their own fuel. But civilization is unraveling everywhere. The war goes on, but that's the least of the characters' problems. It says this is a complete system, and they say post-Holocaust. I guess maybe it would be post-apocalyptic. Apparently the combat rules are a major breakthrough. One general combat resolution procedure covers all types of combat. Once the basic 3-step combat sequence is understood, combat is quick and easy to resolve, but the wide range of weapons values keep the system rich in detail. Also covered in detail is the background to the war, with extensive material on the state of the world. And I'm going to list some contents of the box. So, what do we got inside though? So let's start with stuff. Let me bring this over here. Please put me on your mailing list. I love these old things. And this is Game Designers Workshop in Bloomington, Illinois. You guys ever sent one of these out to a company? A number of you have. So first and foremost, we have the Twilight 2000 play manual. And I'm going to try and read this upside down. We've got, we have a date here, 84. So the probably the apex of the Cold War. I guess that could be argued, but certainly the Cold War was still running very cold. So we have our introduction. I won't go over that because I read the back of the box there. But again, this is the playing manual. Also comes with a referee's manual. And with the playing manual, it goes over character generation, your basic attributes, other physical characteristics, etc., etc. I also kind of like the artwork in there. At least it's original. I mean, it's not heart-stopping or anything, but it is original and eye-catching. One of the things I thought was interesting about this game is the RADs. You do have to deal with radiation hot spots here and there. Not to the extent that you say would have to deal with in like a Gamma World situation, which is another, and I don't own a lot of role-playing games, but another role-playing game that I do own, Gamma World, over there on the shelf. Let's see. So anything you would need, just like Dungeons and Dragons or any basic role-playing game, anything you would need to generate characters, this is what you'll use. Also deals with equipment, your base hit numbers, body combat damage. Deals with skills and attributes, time and travel. So, in an attempt to make this as real-world sim as possible, they've got pretty much everything covered in here. Upkeep, food requirements, foraging. You can even go fishing, hunting. Deals with fuel, vehicle maintenance. What else do we have? We have animal maintenance. And it goes into combat. Describes a combat turn. Let's see this real quick. It says each combat turn is 30 seconds long and is divided into 6 5-second combat rounds. One action can be performed by each player in each combat round, and each action takes only one combat round to complete. Then it goes into movement. We have, what is this? Coolness under fire. Your actions, which consist of fire, aim, reload, recover spent brass, which I guess you can use to make ammunition, melee, body combat, crawl, walk, trot, run, go prone, drive a vehicle or ride an animal, and hesitate. Hesitate is an action. Okay, fair enough. What else do we have? Knockdown, panic, bailout, charge. And then you have your order of attacks, some more body combat. Goes into melee combat and fire combat in depth. So you're going to deal with, as to be expected, fire combat weapons, which are listed on the weapons chart. It's going to give you all the information you will need. Rate of fire, magazine size, range, damage, and armor multiplier. Knockdown and burst radius. Indirect fire range. 2 varieties of fire combat, direct fire and indirect fire. You have your human limits. A single character can fire only one weapon at a time. Reloading, then it goes into direct fire, your hit procedure. Says, unlike most tasks, skills is not used directly in fire combat. Instead, a base hit number is used. Each of the direct fire skills has 3 base hit numbers, 1 each for close range, medium range, and long range. And it goes into range, aimed shots, extreme range, tripod mounted, sniper rifle, pistol, submachine guns, etc. Fire from a moving vehicle. It goes into indirect fire. And thrown weapons, hand grenades, etc. So this was the play manual, or I guess you would call it the player's handbook, if you're to compare it to some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And then you have your referee's manual, right? More skills and attributes. Let's see. Skill descriptions and specific tasks. So you can have your character be skilled in biochemistry. What is this? Mechanic, medic. There's quite a few actually. And then your skills can improve over time. Then combat part 2, more combat stuff. Deals with explosions, explosives, chemical rounds, some dirty stuff in your mines, vehicle damage. I mean, these pictures are black and white, but isn't that just like a great picture, background picture? What else we have here? Animals in combat. So the focus is heavily on combat. Encounters, frequency of encounters, range of encounters, spotting and surplus. So settlements, this does take place in Poland, as was mentioned, and you'll hit various villages, towns, etc. Additional rules, here's your radiation stuff. It says nature has a way of repairing itself, and 2 years after a major nuclear exchange, most of the severe radiation hazards will be gone. Yeah, you say so. Effects of exposure, that should be fun, uplifting stuff. Disease, and as to say, diseases that are non-radiation related, so stuff like, all the fun stuff, dysentery, cholera, real party favorites here, typhoid fever. Trade and commerce, then your visibility, repairs, electricity, swimming. It gives a chronological background, which I appreciate. And remember, this was in what, 84, did I say? So they're projecting ahead, beginning with 1995, with a what would become historical background. 96, 97. So the first paragraph here in 95 says, after a period of increasing tension and escalating border incidents, full-scale war erupted between the Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China. I think that's fairly overly optimistic looking at that now. So yeah, 96, 97. It just gives a whole rundown of what took place in 98. The winter of 97, 98 was particularly cold. And all the way through 99 to 2000, at which point civil authority had virtually ceased to exist. And then it gives an overview of Poland, describes the land, and sets the scene. Then you have notes to the referee, and that is your referee's manual. Now you'll also get things and stuff. You get you get these character sheets, which you can make copies of. This is what a character sheet would look like. That shows up at the front. If we have a back, we do have a back. Back is the vehicle record sheet, apparently. Has its own sheet. A number of those. Just a few. But again, you can make copies of those, and obviously this is now out of print. I think they did another, published a new, kind of newfangled, updated version of this, but I wanted nothing to do with it. Here's your Twilight 2000 errata sheet, just one sheet at the time of release. And your equipment list, it's a little booklet. This is about 11 pages of equipment, firearms, assault rifles, everything that you come to know and love. via military equipment, all the way up to self-propelled artillery, combat vehicles, personnel carriers. You got your Bradley. I used to love the Bradley as a kid growing up. I thought that was a cool looking little vehicle. Tanks, M1, of course. Animals, you can have horses and mules and oxes. Ooh, miscellaneous equipment, dynamite stick, plastic, explosives. Got your mines. Generators, stills, heaters, and coolers. Reads like a whole Earth catalog. Hand tools, range finders, radios, vision devices, radars, laser designators, nuclear, biological, and chemical equipment, medical supplies. Man, you could have fun going shopping with this here. Sure beats Amazon because they're not going to have half that stuff, if any of it. Let's see. What is this? Ooh, you get your price list. None of this stuff's for free, right? So you can throw down a couple grand for an M202 rocket launcher. $400 for a M16A2. What else you got here? You can 200,000 for an M2 Bradley. Better only get 2 of those. So that's kind of cool price list. Then you have referees charts for easy consultation running the game. A travel movement table. Food consumption chart. Alcohol output chart. Not the kind you drink, unfortunately. Fuel energy table. Encounter table. So as you're running through terrain, you're going to roll to see if you encounter anything, and it could consist of fowl, game, an armed character, dogs, a bear, a boar. Vehicle damage location list, and some combat charts with the weapons listed, the rates of fire, magazine range, damage, etc. Language lists, on and on. More encounter statistics tables. That is the Twilight 2000 referees charts. With the Red Dawn, original Red Dawn, I don't like remakes, original Red Dawn movie, soundtrack in the background. A contents of this box. Sheet. You get a map. Now this is going to be their version of Poland via, well, 2000, because that's when the setting of the game is. There's that there. And this, you know, obviously you're not going to play on this. I mean, you use this as a campaign map as you go across Poland. But you can use your imagination otherwise. Except for the tactical stuff, you know, still use the square grid, old school square grid D&D tactical maps if you like. You've got I like this. This adds some flavor. It's a secret briefing page, breaking down some information. Annex A, enemy dispositions to intelligence estimate number 142. Official document there. Don't let anybody see this. What else we have? More stuff. So, what is this? Players charts. So it breaks down all the skills list. And on the back is service branch, specialty table, some more languages, your ranks, vehicle table, and Soviet nationalities list. Just 2 pages of that. Nice sum of things that are included. Your Twilight 2000 adventure handout, Escape from Calais, Death of a Division. Again, this is going to set the scene for the game. Front and back there. More flavor, which I appreciate. You don't leave everything to the imagination. More, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. So we have two copies of the referees charts. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. And a little little 8-page booklet breaking down the beginning adventure Escape from Calais. So beginning the game, setting the scene. You have your enemy units and positions. It tells where, for instance, the Soviet 124th Motorized Rifle Division is and what it consists of and the state of that division. Places of interest. So, of course, Calais, which it says was badly devastated by the recent fighting. Most of the city is in ruins and parts are in flames, and it goes on to describe any units that are left there, etc. Other towns. Rumors. It says a variety of rumors are available to the characters. The ones listed below are just a sample, and those consist of civilian rumors, military prisoners and stragglers, radio transmissions, and then something called ways, means, and goals. So that again is your beginning adventure booklet. So if you look at all this stuff, again, this is a nice sum of things you get. 2 primary booklets, your character sheets, let's see, referees charts, and your beginning adventure booklet, your beginning adventure handout, players charts, your Annex A briefing, a campaign map, your price list, your equipment list, and your 1-page errata sheet. All that comes in the game. I don't remember if dice came with this or not. Can't remember the answer to that. Yes, 1 10-sided die, 4 6-sided dice. Complexity rating intermediate. That's Twilight 2000, and I had this. This is the second copy I've owned. I had this as a youngster growing up when I was fascinated by all things Vietnam and I guess Cold War-ish, and lost the game, but picked it up again a couple years back, more for nostalgia's sake than any real intention to bust into hardcore play. But I have stared at this on the shelf and thought, how can I adapt this, right? How can I turn this into a kind of a half RPG, half board game type thing? And I know they did eventually release a board game version of this. I don't know if it's worth owning or if it's even playable. But, you know, I've got this map here, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I did just like a simple, you know, homebrew scenario where you have to simply make it from one end of the map to the other, and you can roll your random encounters along the way, etc., etc. Try and work out some sort of a narrative along the way. But I thought maybe I'd get a kick out of doing that. I won't rule that out, but maybe at some point I can do that, and we can have an adventure together. I don't know. I'm exploring new avenues and branching out and trying to do other things. So that's Twilight 2000. If you guys are curious, there's more information about this on the web. You can probably pick this up on eBay or something like that. I don't think it's too expensive, but it's held up fairly well over time. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.